الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال سبحانه وتعالى: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. My beloved brothers and respected sisters, for start my khutbah, I would like to remind one of the etiquettes of the Jum'ah is that you don't engage anything during the khutbah but the khutbah. You fully pay attention to what is delivered to you. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man massa al-hasa faqad lagha." Whoever touched the pebbles, the small stones during the Jum'ah, the small stone next to you, to play with that would invalidate your khutbah. Forget about using the phones or doing some other things. Inshallah, we need to pay attention to those. In the books of the Seerah, it was narrated that when the army of the Muslims conquered Baytul Maqdis, the occupied land, the leaders of Romans, who at the time was in control of that land, did not accept to surrender the city and the keys of Bayt al-Maqdis, but to Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar radiyallahu anhu. At the time, Abu Ubaidah was the leader of the army who conquered that area, and him and Amr ibn As. They said, we need to have Amir al-Mu'mineen here in order for us to surrender the keys to Bayt al-Maqdis. And it was sent, Abu Ubaidah sent a message to Amir al-Mu'mineen in Medina to come and receive these keys. When he was invited, he came, him and his ghulam, his boy, with him, Maysara. They say they were riding one camel and they were sharing, they were taking a turns. Thuluthu sa'an, about 20 minutes, Umar would ride and his ghulam, his boy, his servant would hold the rope, and then vice versa. When they reached the Bayt al-Maqdis, it was a turn for Umar to hold the rope and the ghulam to ride. The ghulam said that, "Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, you can go ahead and ride and I would do this." Umar, he said, "It's your turn and I can't take it from you." And he entered. Before he entered the city, I want you to have the scene that the entire leaders of Romans are standing and waiting for the arrival of Umar. Umar, the man, when his name is mentioned, the enemies would start shaking. Umar, the man, when he takes a path, shaitan would take another path. Umar, they call the historian Umar, إِذَا سَأَلْتَ عَنِ الْعَدْلِ. If you ask about justice in Muslim world and Islam, tell them matter Umar. Umar had died because he was a just ruler. They were expecting a delegation of Amir al-Mu'mineen would come with an army, with a proud, because they are in state of victorious. But they saw this man Umar coming, and Muslims, all the non-Muslims were in gathered. They started saying, Umar is here. Abu Ubaidah radiyallahu anhu rushed to Umar radiyallahu anhu. He saw Umar holding the rope, dressed in a cloth that was not fancy according to the standards of the leaders. He said to him, "Oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, you are embarrassing us. The Romans, the leaders of Romans are here waiting for your arrival, and you are arriving in this situation, oh Umar." Then Umar radiyallahu anhu pushed Abu Ubaidah with his little stick, and he said, "I wish someone else other than you had said this statement." And he said a statement that that was reported in history. And he said, "Nahnu qawm ya Aba Ubaidah, a'azzana Allahu bil Islam." We are a people whom Allah had given us honor and dignity with Islam. the Arabs before Islam, they were Bedouins. The Romans, the Persian will look down to them. They didn't even want to conquer their land because there was nothing to conquer on that land. And Ja'far radiallahu anhu, when we went to Abyssinia, Ethiopia, when he was asked about what they were, he said, كُنَّا قَوْمًا جَاهِلِيًّا نَعْبُدُ الْأَصْنَامَ وَنَأْكُلُ الْمَيِّتَ وَنَوُدُّ الْبَنَاتِ. He said, we were people of ignorance, that we used to worship idols, that we used to bury the girls alive, that we used to eat the deceased, the mayyita, the animal that is died. He said, when Islam came, Islam had honored us. He said, Umar radiallahu anhu, نحن قوم, I want you to pay attention to this statement. He said, we are a group of people, Allah had given us an honor with Islam. Not the way we look, not the way we show off, not the way we show arrogant. He said, فَإِنِ ابْتَغَيْنَا الْعِزَّةِ, if we seek honor and respect in any form of shape other than Islam, we will always be humiliated. And this statement summarizes the situation of the Muslims today. We seek izzah and honor and respect from any other ways. We tried nationalism, we tried everything, and none of it. Qawmiyya Arabiya, we tried Ra'sumaliyya, we tried, none of it. Now we're trying democracy. None of it is working. The only way that we can get that izzah back, as Umar said, is to go back to our religion, to our faith. The reason I quoted this, and I debated what topic to speak today, we have kids here, and I always make sure that I include them in my khutbah, is to speak to them and to you all about the Muslim identity. What is our identity? There is a lot of crisis going inside the youth. Some of them hiding their names when they go to school. They don't want to be called as a Muslim. If his name is Muhammad, he may call himself Mo. If he's Ali, he wants to be called Alex. And I spoke to one of them a week ago, and we were talking about these issues, that he was Muhammad, that he want people and his school, and everybody now knows him as a Mo, because he thinks that the society, the school, and everything perceived him as somebody who's a terrorist, or somebody who doesn't have a value when he calls himself a Muhammad. There's a crisis that we're going through. My brothers in Islam, first and foremost, Allah had given us a ni'am that we cannot count it. Allah says, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you try to count the bounties that Allah had given to you, you cannot count it. His number. There are so many. Allah had given you many ni'am that you cannot count it. The greatest ni'mah that Allah had given and ever gave is a ni'mah of Islam, that we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A ni'mah of deen. When you go to your grave, you're not going to be asked, what's your lineage? What do you earn? What is your status? You'll be asked, وَمَا دِينُكَ? What's your deen? What do you believe? What do you worship? That is the course, a ni'mah that Allah had given us. We have to raise our head and say proudly, unapologetically, and our kids are watching us and seeing us, how we conduct ourselves. If they see a father who's walking around hiding identities and apologetic, then that is what they think. They will take knowledge from them. We have to take the lead. We have to show them that Islam is a beautiful way of life. Many people in the world worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They worship idols, they worship fire, they worship snakes, they worship everything that you can imagine. These people, some of them are educated, have bachelors, that have PhDs, but Allah had chosen you, had guided you that you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. That you have to be proud of. You have to be proud of that. You believe all the messages that came before Islam. You believe the message of Jesus. You believe the message of Moses. You believe all the prophets of God. لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله. We do not differentiate none of the messengers. We have to be proud of all of that, my brothers and sisters in Islam. We brought our kids here. If you take a child of yours to the swimming pool and you said, go ahead and swim by yourself, he will fail, he can't. And it's our responsibility, my brothers in Islam, that we have to teach our kids, otherwise they would fail. We have to teach them about their religion, about Islam, about being proud of Islam. And I experienced and I learned that the way we were teaching Islam back home, it doesn't have to be same equal way that we teach it in here. And back home there was no confusion. There was no industry called Islamophobia that they would hear all the misconceptions about Islam, all the negative things about Islam. It's our responsibility to tackle those, to tell them in advance what are the attacks and how to respond to those attacks. In Islamic studies that I added 50 misconceptions about Islam. They need to learn. Otherwise, if you do not teach them, if we do not tell them these are the things that people attack about Islam, and these people speak about Islam, later on they would discover and they would believe whatever Islamophobia is saying. And it's our responsibility, my brothers and sisters in Islam, to tackle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given us the best name, Muslim. And we have to be proud of that identity. And we have to claim that. We have to refuse and reject any form of shape of division in the community. You could wear any thobe that you want, any clothes that you want to divide the ummah. You can claim that you are representing Islam and you want to divide a small minority community who live in a small city, are there very, very minority that we want to divide them. You want to separate them. We have to reject those and we have to be proud of who we are. Allah says, وَجَتَبَاكُمْ وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. Allah is the one who has chosen you. There is no difficulty in religion. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. You follow the path of your father Ibrahim. هُوَ سَمَّاكُمُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. He is the one who named you as a Muslim. So we have to take a proud of that name. We have to be proud of a religion that Allah had perfected, a religion that had completed. Allah says, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ. It was revealed in a farewell sermon after the Prophet ﷺ said the last word to his ummah, like a prophet who was concerned about the well-being of his ummah after his death. As soon as he finished that beautiful sermon that we had covered in a previous khutbah, Allah revealed, al-yawm, today that I had completed your deen and I had perfected Islam. There is nothing to hide about Islam. Islam is a beautiful way of life. There is nothing that is not incomplete about Islam. Everything has to make sense in Islam and can be explained and can be clarified. So we don't have to hide our identity. We don't have to sugarcoat. We don't have to be apologetic about who we are. It's almost some people are they saying, please forgive me, I'm a Muslim, in order of saying, I'm a proud Muslim and I stand by it. So we have to teach that self-confidence, self-proud to our kids and instigate them from the early age. This ayah, and اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم, when one of the Jewish men heard this ayah, he said to Umar, if this ayah was revealed in our book, لَاتَّخَذْنَاهَا عِيدًا, he said, we would take that day a day of celebration, when a day that Allah had completed your religion and perfected and make Islam and chose Islam for you as a way of life. Then he said, Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said that this day was too Eid for us. It was a Jum'ah and a day of Arafah, my brothers and sisters in Islam. When somebody asks you at work, when somebody talks to you at school, you have to claim your identity. Even if you look at the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, and I was sharing in the halaqah last time, when he was asked to interpret the dream, وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ, when they put him in prison without him doing anything, there are two men who were in the prison with him, and they asked him a question. They said, we saw a dream. إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَعْصِرُ خَمْرًا. He said, one of them, I saw that I was making the wine, and the other one, he said, وَقَالَ الْآخَرُ إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَحْمِلُ فَوْقَ رَأْسِي خُبْزًا. I saw that I was carrying a bread in my head and the birds were eating from. They said, نَبِّئْنَا بِتَأْوِيلِهِ. Tell us about the interpretation of this. They asked him a question, but Yusuf alayhi salam, a man of identity, a man who knew who was, he took that up as an opportunity to teach these people about Islam. He wasn't asked about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wasn't asked about the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But before he answered their question, he took a pride of himself. وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ. He said, I follow the path of Ibrahim and my fathers Ismail and all of them Ishaq. He said, مَا كَانَ لَنَا أَن نُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ. He went completely to a different topic so that he can take this opportunity, these two guys who are listening to his words, he gave them about the oneness of Allah. He gave them invitation, da'wah to Islam. This is what we need to perceive. Any opportunity that you get, even if it's not the topic about Islam and da'wah, find a way to connect them before you answer your questions. Find a way that you connect this topic to the da'wah, to the Islam, to the teachings of Islam. My brothers and sisters in Islam, be proud to be looked as a stranger. Because when you go to school, when you attend school, that you say you don't date, when you say that you don't go to prom, when you say you're a virgin, you'll be laughed at. The peer pressure is real. The pressure that they're going through is real. If he just says that I don't date, I'm a virgin, they will laugh at him. They will look at him like as a backward. They will look at him as a man who cannot do anything. So be proud of being you, stranger, looked down, laughed at. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, بدأ الإسلام غريبا وسيعود غريبا كما كان. Islam, this religion, had started as a strange. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before his people, they knew him as Sadiq al-Amin. When he went to the Safa and he called them all and he gathered them all and he asked them, what do you think if I tell you that there is an army who is coming behind this mountain to attack you? Would you believe me, O my people? They said, yes, you're a Sadiq al-Amin. Definitely we will take your words and we will get ready for war. When he said that, إِنِّي لَذِيرٌ لَكُمْ بَيْنَ يَدَيْ عَذَابٍ شَدِيدٍ, I'm warning you from a punishment of Allah that may come to you if you do not believe in me and the message that I'm coming with you. He was genuinely concerned about their well-being of hereafter. When he started that message, they looked at him as a strange. They looked at him as a weird guy. They named him all the names that they could. They tried to kill him. Even his daughters were divorced when he started preaching Islam. But he was patient. Because of him being patient and strong, we are Muslims today. Because of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's sacrifice, today we say La ilaha illallah. We put our face to the ground and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. The man who had done so much sacrifice for you and I to be a Muslim today. Are we gonna hide from his faith and from his deen? My brothers and sisters in Islam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions were so proud of their identity and their religion and themselves. In the battle of Uhud, even though there was many of companions were killed in that battle, one of the Quraysh came and said, "U'lu Hubal, may Hubal succeed and win." That means our idols had won. Then he said to the Prophet, "Ala tujimun, why don't you answer for him?" They said, "What are we going to say?" He says, "Say, Allahu a'la wa ajal. Allah is higher and bigger than your idols." Then they said, "Lana al-Uzza wa la Uzza lakum." We have Uzza, which is a Sanam, an idol's name, but you do not have. Then the Prophet ﷺ said to them, "Say, Allahu mawlana wa la mawla lakum." Say, Allah is our supporter, Allah is our protector, and you do not have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with it. Be proud, my brothers Islam, my beloved brothers Islam, be proud that you belong to a religion that calls for equality, that all people are equal in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless of their race and color. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith of Asma bint Yazid, إِذَا جَمَعَ اللَّهُ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَالْآخِرِينَ, when Allah gathers the former people and the later people, all of them in one place to hold them accountable, Allah would say, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, I have raised for you a lineage, and you put it down, my lineage, you put your own lineage up. I raised the lineage that Allah says, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most noble one amongst you is the one who have a taqwa of Allah. You put it down and you brought your own divisions, your own things, and you forget about the unity, you forget about the equality and nobility in Islam. All that would vanish. The thing that would stay in the day of judgment with us when Allah gathers us is that al-Islam, my brother, Islam, that we need to take a pride of, that we need to hold high to it. Our sisters, when they go to work sometimes, when they go even to school, they will look at her hijab. They may call her, you're oppressed, you're not liberated, you are backward, and all those names. Our sisters, you need to stand up firm and say that your hijab is your honor, is your pride, is your life. It's your choice and your obedience to the one who had created you. You're not a symbol for a man to look at to fulfill his own sexual desire. Rather, you are doing this act, wearing this clothes, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obey the one who had asked you to cover. Allah says, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا. If Allah and His Messenger decides about the affair and asks you to do something, you fulfill to that command. You tell them that you're fulfilling the command of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who said in hadith, Nisa'un kasiyatun ariyatun mumilat. There will be a woman at the end of the time who are dressed but naked, inclined towards men, and mumilat, they make others inclined to them. He said, La yadkhulna al-jannah, that they will not enter the Jannah and they will not smell the fragrance of Jannah. So you're doing this in order to attain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My beloved sisters, your role models are not Beyonce, Taylor Swift, nor Rihanna. Rather, your real models are Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Aisha radiallahu anha narrates, she says that when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and my father was buried in my room, that was the ghurfa of Aisha, he said that I used to go to that room without me covering myself, without me putting my hijab on. But when Umar radiallahu anhu was brought to the room and was buried in my room, she says, Aisha radiallahu anha, a role model for our sisters, when he was buried there, she said, I have not, wallahi, he said, by Allah, I have not go to that room without my hijab on, because Umar, who was deceased under the ground, was buried in that room. She is your role model. Your model is Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Fatima, when she died, when she was about to die, she said that I want Ali only to bury me, and she is the first one who started the new nash, and that she put pillars in the nash. It was before they used to carry her on the top of that, where the features of the person would be appeared. She started building small house, small nash for the body. She said, I want to be carried this way, so that man, when I die, the man even will not see my appearance. I'm not asking you go to that limit. These were special people, but I want you to take a pride of you who are, and to take a pride of your religion and your identity and your hijab, and work to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you will meet Him alone without anybody interpreting between you and Him. These people who are calling you that we will liberate you, that want to take your hijab down, will not do anything for you when you meet your Lord alone, when you go to your grave alone. The only helpful is your deen and your deeds. My beloved brothers and sisters, أقول ما سمعتم استغفر الله لي ولكم واستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. استغفر الله. الحمد لله الحمد لله على إحسانه والشكر له على توفيقه وامتنانه. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. My beloved brothers in Islam, being proud of your religion, to take a pride of your Islam, being unapologetic of your religion, doesn't mean that you are not mutasamih, you are not accepting the coexistence of others' belief in this country. It doesn't mean that. And I was talking to one of the youth, that he was trying to put a point that the reason that these things happen is that because they want to be American. And again, to be American, the definition, the constitution, to be American means to be who you are. To be American means to believe whatever you want to believe, to look the way you want to be looking like, to do whatever you want to do, to believe or not to believe, to do whatever you want to do. So being a Muslim does not negate or does not take you away even being an American, my brothers and sisters in Islam. So being a Muslim in this country means taking your religion seriously, means being humble and respectful to others, but you do not compromise your faith. You do not negate or reject parts of your faith you may not understand at the moment in order to make yourself look good. And as I mentioned, مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. There is nothing that missing from this religion. It's beautiful. This religion is a religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though the Islamophobia industry is very big, is a capitalism making millions, whatever you say, they may not even listen to you. And I learned it that way. Because before online, sometimes I go online and I see some Islamophobia, respond to it, say, no, Islam is not that, this is what we believe, no. What I notice, the more that we continue that conversation, the more they get aggressive and use even profanity words with you. And the best way that I learned to deal with it, and it could be a wrong way, but you figure out the way to deal with this, to say, I'm a Muslim, I'm American, I'm here whether you like it or not, deal with it. Deal with it, I'm here, I'm going to be here, not going nowhere. Just deal with it. Find a way that you can deal with it. Just end the conversation, because they will go sometimes in the wrong way. So these are the crises that going on in our society, in our community, in our kids' mind. We're throwing them to the ocean. They don't know how to swim. They don't know these misconceptions about Islam. Then if they fail, if they have crisis, then barely they find the people that they could talk about this crisis. When they come to the masajid, maybe we judge them, anta kafir, you're a disbeliever. This little boy, I remember one of them used to attend one of the schools in here, that I knew him at the early age. I saw him going through this crisis, and I had to speak to him, and we're still talking. But all his ignorance, that he went online and he fall for all this ignorance. But everything is clarified. Everything is clear in Islam, and we have to change our approach to things. We have to know there is a lot of attacks against our children. We have to prepare them in order to face this wars that's directed to the Muslims, my brothers and sisters in Islam. So to be proud should not make us rude or disrespectful, rather should make us a good example, should make us a role model. Should Islam be on our side? When they see you, when they deal with you, they need to deal with the most truthful person, the most honest person, the most kind person that they knew. Whenever then later on, the Fox and any other Islamophobic sites speak something and they say, I know a co-worker who is a Muslim, Muslims are not like that. I know a neighbor who is a Muslim and they do not do this. We have to set that example for them, my brothers and sisters in Islam. And finally, my brothers in Islam, and I'm going to end my khutbah, and I have a lot of notes to go, but inshallah we could cover in other khutbahs, is that madahir al-i'tizaz. How are we going to show pride to our religion? Are we just going to say, I'm a Muslim, I'm proud, let's show some arrogance? It doesn't mean that. First and foremost, the best way to be proud of your religion is to hold on to your religion. Be proud of who you are. Sometimes I'll go to certain meetings that I want to dress differently, that I want to dress like maybe sometimes wear a suit, but I'm gonna dress like this with my thobe just to show proud of who I am and my look and who they are. And I want them to get used to seeing somebody who's wearing a dress, somebody who's wearing an imam, so that they know is a regular person. We have to take a pride, we have to practice our religion. The first and foremost is to hold on to your religion. Hold firmly to your Islam and practice your Islam the way it is without being apologetically. If you have to pray in the street, go ahead and pray. Go ahead, pray, and be careful and be safe. And at the end, what the people who doesn't like you could do to you. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said, what can my enemy do to me? Either they kill me, that is a shahada. That is shahada for the sake of Allah, and I gave the ultimate sacrifice to my religion. If they kill me, they will put me in prison. I will worship Allah, I will read Quran, I will do things that I want to do, and I will devote my life to Allah. I have a time that I could worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What they can do to me? Nothing can happen to you with Allah without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowing you. So practice your religion and real Islam. Don't be a fitna. And as I mentioned in the previous khutbah, don't be a fitna to others. Sometimes you're a Muslim and some non-Muslims who see the way you act, then they will lash with Islam. رَبَّنَا لَا تِجْعَلْنَا فِتْنَةً لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Allah says it. Don't make us a fitna to those who disbelieve by us showing the wrong example to them. That's number one. Number two, my brother Islam, a way to show our identity and be proud of our identity is to call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Invite the humanity to Allah. If you have an opportunity to speak to someone, tell him about Islam. You don't want that person to hold you accountable in front of Allah and say, so and so was my neighbor for 10 years and he had never taught me about you, oh Allah. He will hold you in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be like Yusuf alayhi salam. You get an opportunity of a conversation, try respectfully to give a da'wah and Allah. The best da'wah, by the way, you can give is your character and your conduct, my brothers and sisters. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. Who is better in speech, Allah says, than who calls to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's good, and he says what he says. He doesn't hide his identity. He doesn't compromise his identity. وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. He says proudly, I am from the Muslim. I'm a Muslim. This is what we need to do. And a da'wah, we have to rush. We have to hurry towards it. وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِّنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْعَى قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ. A man who came from farthest of the city, rushing, he came and he said, oh people, follow the Mursaleen. So this is the examples that we need to follow. We have to say, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ. This is my way, I practice my way. Not only that, I call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I invite humanity. If you have a solution to humanity, you need to share with others. If you have a medicine of a disease that is very dangerous, that is killing humanity, you would like to share with others so that others would not die without having those medicine. Then the humanity are dying with the kufr and disbelief in their heart, with worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the worst form of a disease. And we have as a Muslims the medicine to that. We have to share with the people and invite the people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though that there is a lot of attacks. I'm going to end with this inshallah. A lot of attacks against Muslims online, everywhere. People are talking about, still Islam is flourishing. Islam is the fastest growing religion around. There's no doubt about it. I always tell them that I can fool one or two, but I can't fool all these vast masses who are accepting Islam. I can't. And this is an opportunity that we have, especially this time. People want to know who we are. Yusha, a good friend of us who comes to our masjid, say that we have opportunity right now. Before we used to beg the media to come and listen to us, people to come and listen to us, to hear about us. Now they're ready to hear what we gotta say. Now they're ready to hear what Islam is. And it's our job to deliver that in a best form and manner, and the best way, as I mentioned, is to our good conduct and akhlaq, insha'Allah. Ibadallah, sallu wa sallimu ala man amarakum Allahu bi salati wa salami alayhi. فقال الله عز وجل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم جاز محمدا خير ما جزيت به نبيا عن أمته ورسولا عن قومه. اللهم أوردنا من حوضه. اللهم اسقنا من يده الشريف. اللهم اسقنا من يده الشريف ضمن لا نضع بعدها أبدا يا رب العالمين. وارض اللهم عن الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن السائر الصحابة والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم احفظ أولادنا وأولاد المسلمين. اللهم اهد شبابنا وشباب المسلمين. اللهم اصلح فتياتنا وفتيات المسلمين، واحفظ أموالنا وأموال المسلمين. اللهم احفظهم برعهم يا رب العالمين برحمتك يا عزيز يا كريم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها يا رب العالمين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. صلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وأقم الصلاة. استغفر الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا واعتدلوا سد الخلل. Straight your lines, close your gaps. استووا. Please make sure you straight the lines, close your gaps. Keep your phones on silent. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. وجاهدوا في الله حق جهاده هو اجتباكم وما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج ملة أبيكم إبراهيم هو سماكم المسلمين من قبل وفي هذا ليكون الرسول شهيدا عليكم وتكونوا شهداء على الناس فأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واعتصموا بالله هو مولاكم فنعم المولى ونعم النصير. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة شيء عظيم يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله شديد ومن الناس من يجادل في الله بغير علم ويتبع كل شيطان مريد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.